Hey everyone, it is me, Halise, endeavoring to persevere. As always, if you're new here, I make videos about my chaotic good life. Subscribe, follow, social media, all the things. Plant tour time. Gonna do an updated houseplant tour for y'all. And then also some Qs. Gonna a couple Qs on the whole LECA semi-hydroponics thing. Let's get into it. I know I definitely don't have as much of a variety of plants that I used to, just because most of my plants are in LECA. For those of y'all who don't know, LECA is an alternate growing medium where you grow plants in, you basically grow plants in expanded clay balls. They look something like this. They come in a lot of different shapes and sizes, but they're pretty neato spaghetto. I first discovered LECA last year during the panini press, although we're still in the panini press, but during the panini press I discovered it and I started switching most of my plants to it, just because here in Texas there are a lot of bugs and I had a crazy gnat infestation, and that was how I just found this corner of the internet around LECA and everything having to do with semi-hydroponics. So I would say that my plants are not as diverse as they used to be if you go back and watch my other house plant tours, just because now I really enjoy the LECA growing medium, and so I've kind of picked more plants that I know do well in it and enjoy being in it. And so yeah, that being said though, I have one, two, and my ZZ plants, yeah, 3, 4, and then I have 1 snake plant. So I have 1, 2. That being said though, I do have 5 plants that are not in LECA. They're still in soil and I haven't switched them. I don't know why I haven't, I just kind of haven't. I think it's more because they just seem to be doing really well, and so I don't want them to die. So I have kept them in the medium. I'll show them to you now and then I'll show everybody else. So this is one of many snake plants. Actually I only have one other one, and that other one is in LECA, but my snake plant, you can see how tall, like, oh my gosh, he's so big, he's so tall. He is one of the few plants I have that is still in soil, and the only reason I think I've been able to save him from any type of gnat or bug infestation is because I invested in these little graphite. Like just pebbles, and I put them right on top of his soil, so that way bugs the gnat infestation that was in there, the eggs couldn't come out. They literally just suffocated down there, and now they're food for him. So that is something I will say, if you're someone who's going through a pretty bad gnat infestation, you're struggling with it, think about covering your plants that you have in soil in some type of pebble situation. In fact, I think almost all of my plants that I have still in soil have some sort of pebble covering on them. So here is my very epic snake plant, doing well. It's got like a super duper long one. Super duper long one right here, I don't know why. My other plants that I don't have in LECA and it's because I'm not quite sure that they would do well in it, my ZZ plants. I have 2 ZZ plants. This one was one that I got pretty early on. I haven't switched them out of the pots that I bought them in or anything. They just seem to be doing well. Ooh, I need to clean your leaves off, you're dusty. Sorry, bud. Sorry, dude, I'll do that in a second. But this one seems to be doing well. This one was actually a gift from my mother-in-law for my birthday last year, and I just fertilized him last month, and you can see all these new leaves that this one has, so he's very happy. I will say this soil that it's in is trash, because I know she just it was one of those get a plant in the mail type things, and they just, the soil quality usually is not good. So I probably will switch him into some better soil, but I like the pot. The pot is super cute. I really enjoy the pot. So these are my two ZZ plants, and I haven't switched either of them to LECA because they just seem to do so well. ZZ plants are really easy, and I know ZZ plants have their own internal water, like via those little like gourd bulbs that they have at their root bases. So knowing that, I'm like hesitant to puts a plant like this completely in LECA because so much of it is about just water being around. Because they have their own, that bulb that's in there that holds water for them, you know, they don't need you to give them a lot of water because they just soak it up and keep it for themselves. So I don't know if these would do well in LECA. If you're thinking about switching a ZZ plant or you know someone who has, let me know. But I like both of these too much that I don't want to try on them and then they die. I'll be so sad if that happens. And then my big guy, who is, all my plants are men, I don't know why. My fiddle fig, isn't he glorious? My fiddle fig, he is still in soil. And he has a little baby leaf back here. How random. A little teensy little baby leaf back here. So funny. You're so silly, fiddle. You're a silly fiddler. Anyway, this is my fiddle fig. He's so sweet, he's so kind. I love fiddle figs. I feel like they're super easy. I know there's other people that I've seen that have really struggled with fiddle figs, but I got this one at HEB for like a smooth $10. And I got him, when I first got him, oh my goodness. When I first got him, he was like here. He was maybe 12 inches tall. And all I did was put him next to a window, put some pebbles over him so bugs couldn't get in. This one has little colorful pebbles right on top of his soil so bugs can't get in or come out. And one thing I will say about this fiddle fig, this is the only plant I have that I water once a week. This is the only one, the fiddle fig. I found that he did well even when I was watering him once bi-weekly, once a month even. He was still doing fine, but something told me, I was like, you know, I don't know, I think I was talking to another fiddle fig leaf owner and they told me how they watered theirs once a week pretty like consistently. And I thought, oh, well, let me try that with mine. Shut up. He was like, finally, thank you, and like took off. And so I water him every Monday. Based on his size, I only give him about, and it's not a lot, I give him like a cup of water. Literally, like I have my measuring cup, I put a cup of water and put it in there, and he's just like, appreciate you, bruh, and just keeps doing him. And so he's another one that I'm just like, I really enjoy how big you're getting. I really enjoy how happy you seem. I don't want to lose you. So I don't know if I'll ever switch him because he's just so happy, and I hope that he can like get to be as high as the ceiling. Something that's also really neat about fiddle leaf figs is that they don't need huge pots. Like I think this is a 12-inch diameter, maybe a little bit less pot, and he is tall. He's a good 3 feet, 4 feet, and I have seen fiddle leaf figs that go to the ceiling, and they're only in like maybe a 16-inch pot. You know, they're not in a huge thing. So they kind of like to be cramped in a weird way. As long as you fertilize them and keep them watered, they like it tight. And then my last plant I have in soil still, and it doesn't have any pebbles on it or anything because the bugs didn't seem to want to bother this one, which is funny to me. I forgot how to say this one. It's some kind of succulent. You know what I'm saying? Full sun all the time with this guy. I got him for free. He was completely free. A neighbor down the way had grown him and was like, and it's grown and now I'm gonna give it away. And they just set it outside and were like, free plant. And I took him home. And he has just hung out on my little side table in full sun because that's what they love. And I only water him like once in a blue moon. Like, just when I'm like, oh yeah, what about that succulent over there? Those are all of my plants that I still have in soil and that I probably won't switch because I don't want to. The rest of them are in LECA and or just water. So the guys that I have in water right now, I am currently propagating one. Where are you? Here you are. I'm currently propagating this guy. Currently propagating this. I think it's a Philodendron Brazil, I want to say. I have 2 of them in here actually. Probably need to switch out this water. There we go. Look at them. Look at these roots. Hold it against my skin, cause I'm beautifully melanated. I want to give these roots a little bit longer. I love that its roots have roots, which is great, but I want to give them a little bit longer just in water, just to really make sure it's doing all right. I'll probably top it off actually with another bit of just like another bit of fertilizer in the water too, just like I usually just put like a shot. It's like, you know, just sprinkle it like a shot of fertilizer in the water just to make sure it's getting something. I can already see that this one is already growing a new leaf, which is neat. And then this other one, it's got a little sprig coming out. So they're doing stuff, they're getting there. I just want to make sure that before I truly transition them into LECA that they've really got some good roots going. Those are good. And then I'm gonna, when I feel like they're ready, I will add them to this one. So this is my other Philodendron Brazil as well. And this one I just switched this one over to LECA after letting it sit in water for a couple months. And as you can see, it's already got a new leaf and it's already growing some more. So this one's doing fine. It's doing really good, but it's just one. You know, it's just a little baby. I want to fill it out and give it some buddies, give it some friends. So that's why I'm propagating those other 2, and I'll add them in, and then this will be a little bit more of a bouquet, if you will. I also have a ton of pothoses. Pothoses are super duper crazy, awesome, easy. Sorry, sweet. They're so easy, oh my gosh. Pothos, if you're wondering an easy plant to switch to LECA, pothos, so easy. I have this one, look at, I have this one, which is technically 2, and it's in a jar, and there's a little bit of mold in there, actually. I'll talk about mold later. And I think I've shown y'all these ones before, but I have these 2 guys here that hang out. They usually hang out with my cameras. I have a lot of antique cameras around my apartment, and they just hang out amongst the antique cameras and drape across them, and they seem to really like that. Let me put y'all back up. And then I also have this one, which is a bouquet, a little bouquet of pothi. This one is like a combination of, oh my gosh, how many? 3, 4 are in here? And I made this one because I got this pot for, I got to like one of those mailing plant, you know, they send you plants in the mail things. They sent me one to like promote on Instagram, and I really, the fern didn't make it. No, it was a palm. It was some kind of like a little mini palm. Palms die here in Texas. They die here because of spider mites. Like spider mites seek them out, infiltrate them, and kill them with a vengeance. So that palm, it lasted maybe 2 months in my apartment, and then it was being literally eaten alive. The pot's cute, so I saved the pot, and I had all of these pothoses in like different little mini, you know, peanut butter plastic pots that I had. And so I was like, oh, let me just put them all in one. And now it just looks super cute, you know? It's just like this, and I love, because this pot is like concrete. It's really neat, I love it. And so these are just in here with a little catch. You know, they're in a little catch, and that's it. And they love it. Pothos are really forgiving because you can, you know, and pothos are really, here's the thing about pothos that makes them really awesome for LECA is, one, they let you know when they let you know when they need something. So if they need water, the leaves will just shoop, they'll just do that. They'll just kind of, the leaves will just start to fold in just like that, just ever so slightly. And that's how you know they need a little bit of water. Like some of them, I see some of them on my other pothos are like, I'm ready for some water, babe. So that's what makes them really easy. You can really tell what they need. And then if you're overwatering them, they turn a little yellow. You know, they let you know. They communicate well. Pothos are good communicators. If you'll notice, I don't really have a lot of flowering plants or anything like that. A lot of mine are just around greenery. I enjoy having plants that just look alive. You know, I just really enjoy the color green, and I really enjoy that they just look alive. Because the apartment I'm in, you can see there's a lot of concrete everywhere. And so if you don't have plants in these apartments where I live, like your apartment kind of looks a little dead. It looks a little prison-y, just a little bit. So having the plants really livens it up. The other ones, okay, so now the other plant that I have that I would say are plants that actually do really well in LECA too, is this Hoya. And this is Bertolli. This one has a name. His name is Bertolli. And I will say Hoyas, I've seen that Hoyas do really, really well. There is someone I follow on Instagram who all they grow in LECA is different variants of Hoyas. And it's like the coolest thing ever. If I find their Instagram, I will throw it in the atmosphere for y'all to go follow them because I'm like completely obsessed. Hoyas, ooh, Lord, I'm about to drop some water on the freaking power. Jesus be offense. Hoyas do really, 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 really well in LECA. And I think that's because Hoyas, and correct me if I'm mistaken, but Hoyas, the way they grow in the rainforest and such, is that they grow on the side of a tree, and it's like from the rain that falls off the tree that they get their nutrients. So in a system like LECA, where it's just them growing in through the pebbles and getting water that way, they just do really well. And as you can see, this one is a Hoya Crimson Queen, Crimson Crown. I always forget what the official name of this one is. But you know it's happy when the leaves are turning this yellowish red color. And as you can see, I have a new little guy right here. I'll try not to touch him, I don't want to hurt him. But I have a new little guy right here. He's gonna be another happy little red leaf as soon as he gets bigger. But this one is a combination of about, I think there's like 3 or 4 stems in this one. And as you can see, this Hoya actually is a vining plant as well. It started vining up my fiddle fig, and I had to be like, hey dude, don't do that. So this one's really taking off. He's doing his own thing. I see 3, 4 other leaves here. I guess it's its growing season right now because it's just having a blast all by itself over here. But I feel like eventually I will probably need to switch him to something that he can vine on, because he seems ready. This one right here seems ready to go. He's like, I'm ready to biggity bounce. Give me something to latch onto. Marble nuggets, you need water, bud. Okay, I'll handle that like right now. Anyway, this is marble nuggets, my philodendron, and he's just chilling. I call him marble nuggets because he's in a marble nuggets jar. Something that I think y'all didn't get to see before with marble nuggets is all of his new like aerial roots, I guess is what they're called. He started pushing out aerial roots like nobody's business. And I was like, dude, calm down. He's definitely outgrown this. I mean, look at these roots, y'all. Look at these roots. So many roots with marble nuggets, so many roots. It's crazy time USA in here. So I need to switch him to something bigger. It seems, I mean, philodendrons get massive, so I should probably switch him to something bigger. I first got this one, I need to dust off all of y'all, I'm sorry. I first got this philodendron just out here in the complex. They have them all over the place. Obviously now they don't. Well, they're growing back after the freeze. They're growing back. Kept checking all the philodendrons around and waited for one of them to finally sprout out a little baby one. And I was like, that one. And then I went and grabbed it. And yeah, just kept it in water for a couple months, waited for it to get some good roots, and then put it in LECA, and it was like, sweet. And it looks amazing, doing amazing things. Philodendrons are another easy one. Super easy one to have in LECA, and beautiful greenery. Just love how green they get. In my very first Here's the Basics of Semi-Hydroponics video, I showed y'all how to put a plant in a glass vase. I still have the vase and it has another Monstera in it, but this is the original Monstera from that video. This is it now. It has grown tremendously. As you can see, it has pushed out a couple new leaves. Some of them have fenestrations and then some of them don't. I'm kind of cool with it. I mean, I would like them all to get, you know, I would like it to have more fenestrations, but I'm also like, do you, boo? If you happy, I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? So he's doing well, and he hangs out in this big pot. I think I got this pot from IKEA. I got these pots from IKEA. They're like not too expensive too. So yeah, but this one is doing fine. This is the original plant that I showed y'all last year in the basics of semi-hydroponics video. Still kicking, still alive, very happy. But I have this little one that needs some water, and I'm letting him grow in LECA, and he's doing pretty well. I just need to give him some water. And then this one. This is another one that I think I got this one off the Riverwalk. And you can see this one is about to outgrow the vase again. Yeah, I should probably switch them out sooner rather than later so I don't lose the vase, because that would suck. I was able to get the last one out just by shimmying and getting it out slowly but surely. But this one has really taken over this vase. We'll see if I'm able to get this one out without breaking it. I might have to break it. We shall see. But monsteras love LECA as well. This money tree I have is an experiment. This was another free plant I got from some, you know, get your plant in the mail type thing. And the soil was terrible. There were already bugs infesting it when I got it. And it's not doing hot. But I also have learned that money trees are difficult. So, you know, I don't know. It'll start dying and then I'll like talk to it and then it won't be dying as much. I don't know. I don't know. In the comments below, money trees, like what? You know? And then they're called money trees. So then you're like, I don't want to not have money. What the heck? You know? Like you don't want it to die and then it's bad luck. Anyway, point of the story, I put it in LECA. I don't know. I know not about this plant. I don't know. The big guys. That's not everybody. Oh, in a recent video, I had showed y'all that I was switching my corn plants to LECA. They are now both in LECA and they're both doing great. So in fact, one of them, I will show you. So here's this, I think I actually did a video about switching this corn plant to LECA that I'll link in the atmosphere if you want to take a look. It was just like a simple vlog of me switching this one. But some of y'all had asked on that video, how's that plant doing? He's doing great. He's doing so great, in fact, that he's sprouting something new. As you can see, he's sprouting, and I see another, oh my gosh, there's another one down there too. So he's doing fine. He really seems to like LECA a lot. He's just hanging out. And I have 2 corn plants. Apparently these do pretty well in LECA. So hey. So that is all of my plants that I have in LECA. I don't have, like I said, I don't actually have much variety in my house plants anymore. Because I try to pick plants that I think will do really well in LECA and not die. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Before I get into this like rapid fire Q&A from questions that y'all submitted to me on Instagram about LECA, a quick word from our sponsor, which is Storyblocks. So Storyblocks is an online stock footage site with over 1 million royalty-free assets with unlimited downloads. If you're a full-time creative like me, maybe a video producer, you work with traditional clients, or you're a content creator on any sort of platform, check them out at storyblocks.com/Halise. I have been using them a lot and I really enjoy all the different assets that they offer, templates as well. There's just so much you can use to just beef up your videos, especially again if you're a content creator. Something I really enjoy about Storyblocks right now is their restock program. This is their way of diversifying stock footage that much more. I used to work for a video agency and it was very annoying trying to look for stock footage that represented a variety of different people from different backgrounds and also across the LGBTQI spectrum as well. And Storyblocks is actively trying to fix that problem and diversify their stock footage. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Storyblocks, for taking that initiative. Again, they have plans for any budget, no matter where you are in your creative career. So check them out, storyblocks.com/Halise. All right, y'all, rapid fire questions. Here we go. Which genus of plants do well and which ones do poorly transitioning? Okay, so I think, like I said, plants that do really well in LECA are pothos, monsteras, philodendrons, hoyas. I think any one of those, if you're starting out, if you're a newbie like myself, those are great. Reservoir with wick or shower method? Ooh, good question. I would say reservoir, I would say the shower method. I got this like Swiss chard that was in a hydroponic system. That's actually why I have this little black pot. It was in this. And it used the wick, like the water was way further down and the wick was supposed to be in the little pebbles that were in there to let the chard grow. No, it died. And part of me was like, that's because this system's dumb. So I say shower method all the way. Put, you know, let the LECA get all the way wet as you let water get into the plant. Can you describe the soaking process more? Should it be distilled water or is it boiled okay? Look, live your life, okay? I use tap water. Texas is hard water. I don't use distilled water. I don't boil my water or anything like that. I use it straight from the tap. The only thing I usually do is I do try to pH balance it, especially if I'm gonna create like nutrient water. So, you know, whatever nutrients I wanna use. So, you know, you can get as epic as you want. Just know that for me in my house, it's from the tap. Catchpot in an opaque planter without drainage or clear glass planter without inner net pots. It's really up to you. I personally prefer clear pots with a drainage hole. That is what I prefer. I would say financially and also like not having glass break when you're trying to drill a hole in something, catchpot is like the easiest way to go about it. But I like the clear pots because, especially if you're a beginner, you can see what's happening without having to take the whole plant out of LECA to see what's going on. If you're like anal like that, which for me in the beginning, I definitely was. So I didn't transition plants that were, like this one is in a catch pot. I transitioned it to that after I really knew that it was okay in the system and it would be fine. But even now, I prefer clear containers because you can also see, like mint actually see when it needs water. I feel like with all the plants in the catch pot, I just be living my life and be forgetting to water them. So I like glass clear containers with a hole so I can see when they need to get more water. Best nutrients. Man, okay, link in the description box. Everything I use to nutrient my plants is in the description box in the kit. Avoiding mold, bruh. Thoughts and prayers. Okay, so avoiding mold is so hard, especially with catch pots. I don't get the mold as much with the clear pots, like with the clear glass containers. Don't really get mold. Get more algae, but not mold. The only thing I can think of, and I've learned this from another plant tuber, is treat your LECA with a peroxide solution. It's probably like, I would probably say it's probably 1 part peroxide, 4 parts water. Treat them with that when you're cleaning your LECA to help kind of prevent the mold from having anything to survive on. So we know not to put rocks at the bottom of a pot for drainage, but how about LECA? With LECA, I don't put any rocks or anything at the bottom because the LECA is just there. I don't think you need to do anything like that, like you would with soil, potentially. How often do you refill your reservoirs? If I were on my P's and Q's, if I were a good plant mom, because I'm not, I'm trash. That's why I pick plants that are very resilient. But if I were a good plant mom, I would probably check them bi-weekly. But if I'm being honest with you, I'm probably realistically only rewater them once a month. And when I do that, I do all of them. do as I say, not as I do. Bi-weekly is probably a good way to start. Any special considerations about propagating cuttings in LECA? Yeah, my big thing with that would be put them in water. Just put them in water like I showed you at the top of the video. Just have them in water, have them already be growing and getting roots in water. So that way when you transfer to the LECA, they have like water roots. The roots are usually gonna be a lot thicker and more epic than roots that are grown in soil. And so they'll take to the LECA that much faster because they're already used to it. That's like my big thing with that. When the plant, this is a follow-up question. When the plant only has water roots, can you fully submerge them regularly in LECA? Yeah. If I'm understanding your question right, yes. So, and it really just depends. So here's the thing. I think this is gonna be another question too, like placement of where to put the plant in LECA. My big thing, and here I'll use this one as an example. So if you're doing it with the drain hole method, the thing you wanna do is try to see where your drain hole is, and then think about where the water will end up, and then go about 1/3 of the way up and have your plant like start the roots there. Let them be able to grow down into the water, to find the water and grow down into it. Now this might mean, depending on the type of plant, this might mean that you need to run water across it a little bit more just to make sure it doesn't dry out on its way down to get to the reservoir, and that's okay. But I find that if you start them too low, then they're just always in water and you run the risk of getting root rot because they're just always in water. Whereas if you just start them a little bit higher than where the reservoir would end naturally, especially if you're doing a hole, a drain hole, then they do a lot better and let them grow down. And you just kind of have to care for them a little bit more until they officially reach it, and then they're good. Like this one, yeah, this one has officially reached it. And so I can just have water in there. It's not a big deal. What's the difference between SuperThrive and fertilizer? That's a great question that I don't know the answer to. I know SuperThrive just has like, it's just like on steroids. Like there's just so much stuff in there. Whereas I think fertilizer, it's more for plants that have already started to grow. So it's more about like maintaining rather than like, you know. What's the dilution ratio for your fertilizer? Read the back of the container on that because that's what you should do. Read the instructions and follow them on that. Or live your life on the edge and just, you know, do little shots of stuff like I do. Sometimes I do that. I live my life on the edge with my plants. I'm not a good plant mom. I don't know if y'all realize that yet, but I'm not a good plant mom. Is repotting LECA acclimated plants into bigger containers as stressful for the plant as soil? No. I don't think so. This was the first one that I showed y'all. My first Monstera that I had in LECA. It was in the vase. I switched this guy out of the vase and put him in this Cachepot. Because it's the same, like literally nothing's changing for them. They've already been accustomed to LECA, they're just in it now. I think the only thing that was difficult, and not really for the plant, but more for me, was the new watering and trying to figure out, now that I can't see how much water's in it, when does it need water? Other than that, going from a smaller vessel for the plant to a bigger vessel for the plant, like nothing's really changing for it because it's in LECA in one and it's in LECA in the other. Whereas I think if you're switching plants from LECA to soil, or you're switching a plant from, you know, a soiled pot to a bigger soil pot, is it the same soil? Is that soil have the same nutrient, you know, makeup as before? All that kind of stuff. Like there's a lot more things at play, like a lot more variants at play with that than with LECA, because it's just like the LECA ain't changed, you know, it's kind of whatever. Oh, do you repot your plants in LECA? It's not really about repotting, more as it's about repositioning, and or if they're just getting super big and like have literally the roots are just like taking over and outgrown the pot you put them in, then it's like, okay, maybe you need a bigger pot, which is what happened again with that Monstera. It was just like, it was taking over the vase, and it was just like, either I break the vase or you're gonna break it. Who's breaking the vase first, me or you know? So that was the big thing. The other thing is like, this one, Marble Nuggets, my philodendron. Again, I probably am gonna repot him because I'll show you all the bottom. It's just like, it's crazy. It has done, look at all that. Like it's just completely engulfed it, and I don't it doesn't really have anywhere else to go. So I'll probably put it in a bigger pot. Something I did do with this one in regards to like repotting versus just like replacing it. Something I first did with this was it started growing, it grew all the way down to the bottom, and then I took it out and cleaned off the LECA and did all that kind of stuff. And then I repositioned it and took all of these roots and repositioned everything to be, again, right above the drain hole that is there. And I started all the roots there. And now again, it has grown back down. So, you know, it's one of those things, and it also has these aerial roots now too. So it's also just like, okay, dang, I think you just need a bigger pot, like in general. And there's another aerial root, like a new one, 2 new ones popping off. Like you just probably need something bigger. You know, you can make it work in a container for a while. These corn plants are in smaller containers, and I just have been, as I see that the roots are like coming out of the bottom, I just take all the LECA out, put more LECA at the bottom, then put them in, fill them back up. So that's something you can do, is like you can just reposition roots in the same pot, and that can be as if you've made more space for the plant, even though you haven't, you've just scooted it up. And that's something I did also for Bertolli. I repositioned all of Bertolli, I think like middle of the year last year, because again, he had grown all the way down, and I was like, well, dag. And so I cleaned off everything, took them out, did all that, and then I just made it to where all the roots were like right above my drill hole. And as you can see, he's grown back down again. So, you know, if you're trying to not switch things out for a while, that's something you can do, and I think is perfectly fine, you know? Y'all really be thinking I'm a specialist, and I am not. I am just a person on the internet with a camera and some houseplants. Like, I know nothing. How often do you use nutrient water as opposed to just regular water? That's a good question. Again, if I were a good plant mom, I would probably put my plants on a schedule and use nutrient water on them at least once a month, if I were a good plant mom. And then bi-weekly, so it'd basically be like every other watering would be some kind of nutrient water. That is, I feel like they would probably enjoy that a lot and not be overwhelmed by that too much. However, that's not what I do. So, like I said, if I'm being honest, I probably water my plants once a month, except for the fiddle fig, which I water every Monday, just because he's shown me that it matters. I think I probably really give them nutrients every other month. And they haven't died. So take from that what you will. Ooh, is it worth it to keep my plants in LECA if I just water them with hard tap water, having mixed results? Again, I put my plants in hard. I use water from the tap, and Texas water is hard. So they don't seem to mind. I'm sure they would prefer distilled or something like that. I'm sure they would prefer a cleaner water, but I don't feel like buying that much distilled water. So, is it possible to grow plants that produce fruits in LECA? I have no idea. I know that, so I have seen like vegetables done in LECA. So Swiss chard I've seen in LECA. I've seen spinach, you know, things like that, kale. But that's like a whole, I've seen it grown as like an alternative like farming method of growing vegetables and plants and stuff in a greenhouse. And they have like a whole semi-hydroponics system built where it's water that's passing under the plants, that's fresh, and like they're putting a nutrient mixture in, and it's like a whole crazy awesome thing. I've seen that. All that being said though, I think if you have the tenacity and fortitude to be into that and want to do it, I think it's totally possible. You just gotta really be in it to win it. And you probably need distilled water. In the comments below, if you have more questions, somehow, some way, you have more, If I know the answer, I will make a video, possibly, potentially, about it. Because again, I am a noob, you know? I have kept these guys alive. I am very, very new to LECA still, and I'm still kind of learning my way around it. And as I said before, I'm not the best plant mom. So, hence me getting plants that are incredibly resilient and very communicative about their needs. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. If you're new here, I am Halise. I am a digital storyteller and video producer, and on this channel, I document my chaotic good life. Subscribe, follow social media. Thank you so much for stopping by if you are new here. Big shout out to my Patreon producers, patreon.com/Halise. There you get early access to videos as well as private weekly vlogs from me. It's a good time. Again, I'm Halise, and I will see you when I see you.